The new Tapas campus is huge. What I think about the school is that sports is very nice.
Such a beautiful place for young minds.
It's a fantastic environment for the children to be a part of this beautiful place.
Big congratulations to all of them. Thank you.
Hello everybody and a warm welcome back to Tapas Project Shaala. This is day 4. I'm Preeti Vikram, founder of Tapas Progressive School. It is an absolute joy to be almost at the end of our conference. Why is it a joy? Because this grand finale is in my opinion, the best session, because there are Tapas learners who are part of it, there are heads of institutions, there are homeschoolers, influencers, everybody who's going to be talking about transforming education. So this is an exciting session. We have the panel discussion, which is going to be in the format that I will explain currently. We have 4 panelists. Each of the panelists will talk to us about something that's really close to their heart for about 8-10 minutes, which is going to be a TED Talk style blitz that will happen. After that, we have the Tapas learners who have curated a few questions that they want to ask these panelists. Once we have heard those questions, we will then open it up for audience questions. Till that time, we will have to you can comment. Your comments will be visible to the speakers, to the panelists, and we will continue to hold forth, make sure that we learn a lot from everything that's going on. To begin with, I think I would like to invite Dr. Rouble, Tuli, and Shikha onto the stage. Dr. Rouble and Shikha, are you there? Your camera is off. Okay. So while we figure that piece out, maybe we can start with our second speaker. I will introduce the CEO of the Velammal Group, Mr. Velmurugan, sir. A warm welcome to you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you as part of this panel, because your experience brings amazing insights that we are going to enjoy learning from. A little bit about Mr. Velmurugan. Rouble and Shikha, I will bring you back on after a second. So a little bit about Mr. Velmurugan.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Mr. MVM Velmurugan is the CEO of the Velammal Group of Institutions. With over 80 institutions, this group is highlighted as one of South India's largest educational conglomerates. He is dedicated to fostering innovation, inspiring young minds, and shaping the leaders of tomorrow. So it's an honest pleasure to have you here. My personal interaction with Sir has left me awe-inspired. His humility is is absolutely contagious. He is one of the most respected educationists who is keen on bringing progressive education to the forefront. So, sir, thank you so much for joining us. The stage is now yours. You will be talking a little bit about the topic that has been given to you, and I will excuse myself.
So first of all, good morning to all. It's a very, very new experience for me talking to an audience where I'm not able to see, but I'm able to feel that whatever I'm going to speak is going to be of a lot of use to all of you. Like any other child, I grew from a very, very lower middle class family, and all that we did during our younger days were only try to survive, nothing more than that. First to survive, and then whatever we do it well. If I go back to my school days, most of the time my work would have been listen to the parents, do not get any scolding from them. Whatever work is given in the school, either in the school or at home, do it well. And whenever you get time, you play. I think so, right from my younger days till class 12, only that I've done. And one other thing I've done all throughout my life is whenever my father is a civil engineer, whenever he goes to work, all the while during holidays, he will always take me to the site wherever the construction is happening. I owe my success to three elements. One element, my father, who is a disciplinarian, who is 80 years old, still the same, nothing has changed, and he has been my role model. Number two, his time for our family. He didn't anything else other than spending time with children. And then his hard work, and whenever possible, taking us to the site to make us know the reality of life. So these were our younger days, and I joined my dad very, very early. After my plus two, even before plus two, I started working for the school. The school started in 1986. From then on till now, whenever from 1986 to 89, I was just helping my father whenever I had holidays. From 89 till this date, it's my full-time work. God willing, never even imagined that we will reach out to a spot where God has blessed us to this level. But only one thing I would like to say to everyone here is keep on manifesting your potential. That's all. This is the only word. Swami Vivekananda, that's what he says. Everyone has a potential. Manifest your potential. And during our days, except for one uncle or a library book or someone inspiring, there is no other way we can get inspired. It's sheer hard work. But today's children are very, very lucky. Any question you want, anything you want to know, there are hundreds of ways to know it. You're learning from multi-stage. It is not during our days, it is only either a teacher or a parent or an uncle or a library. Today, God willing, you're blessed with so many things. And today, whatever I'm not saying out of my this thing very humbly, I'm saying just sheer work, focus on work. That has brought us to this particular level. I started as a teacher. When I was teaching my children, I was seeing to that I was one of the best teachers. I always take all the children together, either they do well or not do well. I see to that, I help out the children to see to that, to believe that they can do. And once I build that belief in them, then they do. So I'm very happy. I'm a second or third generation teacher for them. Most of my students, my children, their children, I'm the teacher now. So I'm blessed to be like that. And touch wood, during my school days, I was a cricketer. I used to play a lot of sports. Apart from my site visit, the sport also helped me to run such a big, large organization. Today, I'm very happy to say personally, I'm taking care of 25 schools. The rough strength is around 42,000 children. And then we have an engineering college. We have 3,000 engineers there. We have a business school. We have around 240 business managers getting ready, and almost 3,000 teachers and non-teaching staff. I always enjoy my responsibility. These were all not done on one single day. It took almost last 25 years, and it has been very, very organic, very, very organic. The only mantra I always do is I'm a continuous learner. Anywhere, anytime, wherever the learning is there, I am there. I love to travel to learn. Also, wherever any learning comes in any form, either it is a book form or in the YouTube or in the podcast or a newspaper, I'm open, always open. And whenever it comes to whatever is happening all over, I always think, how can I learn from that, whatever learning I'm doing, and how can I bring it to the school? So to my organization, always, if you look, I always write. Even now, I have got a notebook with me. My right side is whatever I'm learning from the teacher or from whoever is the speaker. I write to my right side, and always to my left side, I write what is my thought. This is again one of the biggest thing my father has presented with me is whatever you do, please think. So when I'm listening to someone, even for this program, I have my notebook open. I write something in the right, whatever I gain. To the left, I write what I should do for my organization. I've been a continuous learner and I love to learn. Every year, I see to that I spend at least good time going back to universities, whichever is the best universities, whichever is the best program, either online or offline, I go and learn. And some of the questions which have been posted to me, when you run such a large organization, how do you maintain the soul of the organization? How do you manage it? So all that I would like to say is, one, the growth is very, very organic. The growth doesn't happen just like that. There is some philosophy you try to do, and whatever you do is welcomed by the parents. And because there is a overwhelming welcome by the parents, then we are given the responsibility to take care of their children right from play school to K-12 and then to the engineering college. So even though it may look the organization is big, but it is also, even at that scale, it is our job to see to that we are able to touch every single life. So I have a large number of people who are supporting me. It is not my work alone. I have a very good team who are all equal thinkers like me in all facets. Either it is sport, or either it is on science education, or it is managing, or whatever it is. I have some of the best experts. I work almost with 100 experts day in, day out. Then we draw out the micro plans for all the children. Whatever is currently happening, either it is academic achievements or taking them at a sport level. We are very happy to say, at least in our group schools, we have 27 grandmasters, and all of the schools have got good number of sport facility. Give them the best sports masters possible, and in many of the games, we are excelling very well. Or technology, or their art and craft activities, their co-curricular activities, or their personality, whatever it may be. Even though we run such a big, large organization, our job is to see to that we do all the micro plans for them, have experts in all of the walks of the school, and see to that every plan is drawn out and it is delivered to all the children in a way it has to be done. So it might look the numbers are pretty big, but at the end of the day, it is today's parent want every single child, a portfolio to be done for every single child. That means the child should not be not only good in their subjects, they should also have a good life skill. They should be trained in their futuristic skill. They should be fit. They should be able to appreciate play. They should be able to appreciate co-curricular activities. And they should be also very well in tech. So whatever happens across the world, please try to observe it and then always think, how is that we can bring it back to our school? So that has been my continuous thirst. And as a book goes, I'm always hungry, and I'm humble to learn. And whatever I learn, I share it with my top team. Then we make into we take into smaller modules, and then we start doing pilot programs. And once the pilot programs are done well, then we scale it up. So this is how we have been doing it. And I'm very lucky to be in Tapas school. At least twice or thrice I've been there. I've been seeing the work done by them. We also try to learn from as many schools as possible, because whenever we come to know someone is doing a great job, we always try to learn, and then we try to integrate how can we bring those learnings to our school. So touch wood, we are able to whichever walks the child has to manifest, we are able to help them. And I always believe we are only a platform for our children to jump high, and we see to that we are able to facilitate well. And I also feel economics is the major factor. We can even do micro schools, but it also depends on the economics of scale. I've heard MS Swaminathan sir in 2000, he says more and more children have to be manifested, and that is the belief, and I would love to do more and more as much as possible. It's my 24 hours job. Except for my sleep, it is only education and education and education. Touch wood, we are able to make differences in many children. And whenever some parent comes and says, most of the parents come and say their success stories, wherever we come across, we feel really heartwarming. At the end of the day, for a teacher, that is the biggest reward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an amazing introduction. It's just like I mentioned during your introduction, your humility is just absolutely fantastic, and we look forward to the learners' questions to you.
Sure.
For now, we are going to have the next speakers talking a little bit about what they are really passionate about. We have Dr. Rouble and Shikha Dutt. Let me introduce you, though of course they don't need an introduction. I'm just going to try and attempt an introduction to them as well.
But we just want to double check we are audible, right?
And visible as well.
And visible as well. So
visible, audible this time. We are on stage. So here's my introduction of Dr. Rouble Tuli and Shikha Dutt Tuli. They are educationists, parenting influencers, and curriculum designers with 19 years of experience each. They head Tuli's, the academy and kindergarten and over breakfast young readers club. Dr. Rouble Tuli holds an MSc Biotechnology, MA and PhD in English, and a certificate in Shakespeare from the University of Oxford. Shikha Dutt Tuli holds a double MSc in microbiology and research, food science and nutrition, and has certificates acknowledging her academic distinction. They are both authors of MBA for Children, a book that teaches entrepreneurship to children through animal stories. They've co-created the Language Gym, an academic program in learning studies via theatre and grammar games, adopted by various schools. This expertise is in curriculum and academic program design, and there's a lot more, but I am going to make sure that I speak less and they speak more. So over to you, Dr. Rouble and Shikha.
thank you so much. We're so excited, and the pleasure is all ours.
So let's start then. So in the world of Blinkit and Amazon parcels, the parents out there will be very happy to know that our children also, just like those beautiful parcels, are being bubble wrapped. Our children today are overprotected, they are overplanned, they are overcontrolled. Like choreographers, we manage their routines. Like event planners, we manage their timetables. There are endless activity choices for them because we take a jam-packed timetable for a meaningful learning. I repeat, we take a jam-packed timetable for meaningful learning when certainly it is not.
I mean, what do our children get today? They get a ballet class with a coding class, and a pickleball class, and an origami class, with a Trinity exam prep and a school exam prep. I mean, childhood is becoming a timetable and not an experience. Research suggests that these are the major reasons why children today, they may not develop those deep childhood memories like the earlier generations or even us had. Their childhood is being overstructured. It is packed with classes, with screens, with planned activities. Spontaneous experiences are way fewer. And naturally, the emotional, rich memories are also fewer today. The overprotective environments limit their risk-taking and their exploration. And on top of that, you have the digital stimulation, which reduces their capacity for deep attention and emotional connection. So where is really the long-term memory to cherish?
Rouble, isn't it true that parents assume that money can buy growth? I mean, they feel that the best school, the best coaching, the best gadgets can recraft an average child's brain to make him a prodigy. They feel that the most expensive mentors living in metropolitan cities can cover up for the haggard home environments.
Wow. And don't get me started on the decision-making ability of such children today. I mean, our children are being brought up on the Hindi maxim, ye pav zameen par mat rakhna, gande ho jayenge, because no effort is desired or expected from them. The parents are the ones who decide their clothes, Every child today has one or the other allergy, and so only the select foreign-sounding recipes work for them. The expensive, imported, packaged cornflakes or other food items are their evening snacks. For these whimsical wonders of fragile soap bubble children, schools are changed on the whim.
And then now let's shift the spotlight to the teachers. The teachers are seen as service providers. They are ordered and instructed by the parents. They are reminded constantly to be mindful of their precious child's preferences, likes and dislikes.
Yes, I mean, on the name of emotional security and safety, the children are never taught life skills, basic skills like cooking or even piecing a simple sandwich together, cycling to the nearest daily need shop or watering the plants, buttoning a shirt, ironing the clothes, assembling a wardrobe. Our children are being brought up to be dependent, and they are being taught by the very well practiced role models, which are the parents, how to Amazon, how to Blinkit, how to hunt for convenience.
After all, parents have career anxiety for their children right in the kindergarten.
Ooh.
They have constant worry about marks. They forget a simple reality that a human brain was never meant to be glass housed or plastic wrapped. It was meant for exploration. It is that exploration that builds its capacities, that decides its inclination, its skills, its solution finding abilities.
Oh, yes. Parents today even jump into the classroom riffraff. I mean, they try to take the sides in ordinary disputes that their children have with their classmates. They defend their single child, assuredly assuming that the world has to revolve around their child and that their child is certainly superior and more refined than other children of his age. They play the game of politics and monopoly, grouping with the teachers. They do their homeworks, they write their scripts, they buy their homework projects, they send them to the class teacher for tuitions. Doing it all so cleanly that our children never even have to worry now about the messy works like negotiation skills, resilience, and diplomacy. But isn't that the biggest deprivation for the children today? I mean, the marks are to be fought for because the marks are seen as the mirror to the parental effort. The certificates are seen for the stories for Instagram. For children, the world is just like going to the gym, but asking someone else to exercise for you. And that's why our children are being constructed as the toy models of those fancy buildings, which are anyway meant to crumble in the earthquakes. They're being brought up to be built as those toy models of those Titanics that are anyway meant to sink against the icebergs, with Pizza Hut and nachos in their laps. Our children are designed to be those dominoes waiting to topple and fall with a slight jab.
And ladies and gentlemen, someday in your free time, do a simple experiment. Check your phone list or your WhatsApp group and try to see how many prodigies do you know personally. Chances are none. See how many inventors and creators do you casually meet for coffee. Again, chances are none. When millions complete school every year, why do only a handful become extraordinary? Why is greatness so rare? We invest years in education. We invest millions in education. But then why our inventors and creators are like a pin in a haystack?
Oh, the answer will shock you, Shikha. With all the bubble wrapping that we do for our children, all that our child gets is borrowed knowledge, repeated knowledge. All that he knows is because it has been drilled into his head. The facts and figures have been nailed into his brain with repetition. Do you think the application of knowledge simply means the school labs or the smart labs or the centers of excellence? I hope not, because application of knowledge is also the knowledge that is conversational, that is part of our daily experience. But how will our children really apply their knowledge when they are spoon-fed and served as if father is the manager of the home and mother is the Betty the butler, chasing and running after the child all the time? Our children are like the museum artifact. They are preserved, they are curated, they are not really the owners of the infrastructure of their learning. Their learning is there only as long as it is repeated, like those temporary rental assets. Just as a caged bird never returns to the cage once freed, our children are more than happy with their outside friends once they are teenagers. They don't need us, the parents. You don't believe me? Okay, let's take a little quiz. Help me finish these words.
Okay.
McDonald's, Coca,
Cola,
okay, KF,
C,
Amazon, Face,
Book,
Instagram, Net,
Flicks,
Goo,
Gun,
Harry,
Water,
Spider,
Man,
Game of
Thrones,
Jurassic
Park.
Well, I mean, what does this game go on to show? That our brain is only capable of popular thoughts, memorized ideas. Our brain has a lot of space already consumed. Where is the room for originality? Because I think most of what we know and believe are the references that are all around us. They're repeated around us. That's why we remember them. But if the reference gets diluted, we begin forgetting. Think about your childhood. You learned a lot of nursery rhymes, right? Yeah. Help me finish this nursery rhyme. Mary, Mary.
Quite something?
Quite contrary.
Yeah.
How does your garden grow? See, now you don't remember
know
this
that.
rhyme
Yeah.
because that's what it goes on to show, that we remember only things which are repeated. It is not part of our daily life. Our capacity for independent thinking anyway recedes down in the same way when the knowledge is not applied in our day-to-day conversation. Likewise, because our children are just being fed and fed and fed, how can their learning become part of their lived experience, their used language?
So clearly, when we bubble wrap our child's learning, when we bubble wrap their experiences, we bubble wrap their childhood. We only prepare them for ready answers and popular thoughts.
Exactly. As parents, we do not even give them the independence to reason, the capacity to have a bird's eye view. The capacity to have a third person perspective. They can't question the norms. So how can they do problem solving? How can they have critical thinking? How can they embody their thoughts and ideas and words for communication? This reminds me, a person once went to a library and he shouted loudly, "Hello, I'd like to order some French fries, a burger, and a milkshake." The librarian was like, "What? Excuse me? This is a library." And the person immediately said, "Oops, sorry, I would like to order French fries, a burger, and a milkshake." This is exactly the condition of our parenting and education today. We have the smart classrooms, the digital boards, the international boards, the new policies, the fancy terminology, but the core remains the same of rote learning, memorization, and compliance. Students are still disconnected from context, just as the person in the library was. He was disconnected with the purpose, with the understanding of time and place. And the system simply asks him to adjust the tone, not his thinking.
So education reforms usually become cosmetic changes only and not the conceptual transformations?
We whisper innovation, but we practice, repetition still. In an examination hall, once a child said, "Ma'am, one more sheet, please." Looking at that, his friend said, "Ma'am, my ink is finished. One more ink bottle, please." Looking at him, his friend said, "Ma'am, my question paper is finished. One more question paper, please." Look at the kind of unyielding, relentless competition we live today. It's superfluous, it's exorbitant, it is far-fetched. Announcements like, "Ta-da, this child becomes the youngest writer of the country. Oh, this child becomes the owner of a startup company. Oh, he's the youngest entrepreneur in the world." This just reminds me of those good old circus days when the more sensational you could be, the more you could be marketed. Our children are being marketed for our selfishly intended social status. No wonder universities have had to import robots from China and call them their own in-house AI development because students are seen as revenue streams.
Sadly. And for this revenue, education has to be marketed to the purchasing parents. Okay, how do you see the idea of international boards like IB and Cambridge? They claim to have the right answers.
Once amidst all this discussion, a Cambridge educator came and said, "We are the best. We have inquiry-based learning model." And a child asked, "Excuse me, ma'am, if it is inquiry-based, could you tell me who is making all those inquiries for us? Because we are clearly not asking those questions." Why are we studying Japan in a subject called India Studies? Why is my math book saying dollars, dollars, when outside it is rupee, rupee? And ma'am, if really somebody is taking our inquiries, I have a couple of inquiries. Can you please get them registered? For example, I want to know, why is West Bengal in the east of our country? Does jewelry come from Jewish people? And what is the Soviet onion? Because my school assignment says Russia was formerly called Soviet Onion. And my school assignment can't be wrong. Why is it onion? Why is it not potato? Maybe the child meant Soviet Union, but who cares? Who has the time to take the child's doubts? And anyway, marks won't be deducted because the typo was in the school's assignment. So grace marks.
Oh, but Rouble, at least we have those new approaches like child-centric education, hands-on, learning model, and Steiner's method.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Someone asked a man, "Do you love your life?" He said, of course I love my life. There is nothing to ask. It's my life. Do you love your house? Of course I do. It's my house. Why shouldn't I love it? Do you love money? Naturally, it's money. Why wouldn't I? Do you love your wife? And the man said, oh, my wife is the moonlight of my existence. He became all poetic. She's the fragrance of my breath, the poetry of my soul, the rhyme of my heartbeat, the eternal companion till eternity. I mean, the reality is only when something is questionable, when something is doubtworthy, that's when it needs an over-explanation. And that is the condition with all this educational new boards. They come out with poetic sounding jargon words because in reality, if really they're offering worked and reformed a child, they wouldn't need all that fluff. They wouldn't need all the list of fancy words like inquiry-based learning, experiential learning, transformative pedagogy, 21st century skills. No. You know, a year back, President Trump issued a stamp on his name with his fantastic picture in that confident grin of his right on the stamp. But the people began complaining that this stamp is not sticking on the envelope. No matter how much hard we try, it doesn't stick on the envelope. And recently, it was revealed that people had been spitting on the wrong side of the stamp. Can you believe that? And I hope you got the joke, because that's what's happening in our education. We came up with NEP 2020. It won't be a surprise if we come up with NEP 2026 and then an NEP 2028, because the syllabus will change as per the political climate. Boards will change as per the parental pocket. Technology will change as per the AI evolution. But the result is that we have been spitting on the wrong side. We have been making efforts on the wrong end. Our children simply needed conversational knowledge and life skills, but we are continuously giving them confusions on the name of 21st century skills. And anyway, I tell you, education anyway is not getting reformed at the pace of centuries. It is getting reformed at the pace of decades or even half a decade, because every 5 years, it's a different skill that you will need.
So, ladies and gentlemen, families and education fraternities, let's face the reality and tear off the bubble wrap from our children.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow, there's so much to unpack over there. So many things that education seems to be getting wrong. And in the course of this panel discussion, let's try and see if there are some answers to all the problems that you have raised. Thank you so much, Rouble and Shikha. And it has been a pleasure having you. We are now going to move on to our next speaker.
Looking forward.
Bringing on to stage another wonderful young educator, Sanjana. This is a pleasure to have you. For everybody, introducing Sanjana. Sanjana Samraj is the founder of Grip Tape, is an educator and youth advocate recognized for championing alternative and innovative education in India. She spearheads Grip Tape's Young Bold Initiative, a program dedicated to empowering young individuals. Through this initiative, she inspires young people to actively take charge of their own ideas and learning trajectories. Sanjana, you have been a very strong voice in bringing to forth the kind of education that you require. So it's a great pleasure to have you with us. The stage is now yours, and I request you to keep it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. So I think I'll start with a story. I think when I was doing the Teach for India Fellowship 2 years back, I was teaching grade 4. And when I was teaching that classroom, I had just put a question on the board. This is like when I just started. So I just put a question on the board saying that, okay, come, we can discuss this question. And they were all like, there were like 40 kids in front of me. And they were all like, no, ma'am, you write the answer, we'll copy it, we'll learn it by heart and we'll come. And I was like, no, there's a question here. We can discuss the question. We can, come to the answer on our own, so that, you feel like you have learned it yourself and I'm not like spoon feeding you. And they were very adamant, all 40 of them in my class, grade 4, adamant for me to be adamant that I should write the answer for them so that they can show their parents that they have learned something and for them to be satisfied that, okay, they have gotten the right answer. And that's when I realized that at grade 4, their ability to want to learn had already been like killed and stifled because the system had made them feel like they always needed an adult to tell them what to do, how to do, and how to learn. And they also felt like learning either has to be right or wrong. So they didn't see like there was an in-between process, that in the process of learning, you can also fail and you can also make mistakes, and then it's a normal part of the learning to feel uncomfortable in that process. And I realized that it was not their fault. Like, the system was designed in a way for them to feel like this and be helpless in the process. And I realized that 95% of schools are designed in such a way where we remove that sense of confidence and autonomy from the classroom environment and from the school environment, so that they depend on the entire structure rather than depending on themselves. And I feel like if we look at a broader picture of how India is, like, we take a lot of pride saying that we have the largest youngest population in the world, but this largest youngest population also has a lot of potential that we are completely wasting, because the largest youngest population also goes to schools like this, where we remove the ability for them to be able to think for themselves. And I think it really hit me, like, this whole thing really hit me, because if I go back to my own schooling, I studied at an alternative school where till the 10th standard it was pretty regular. Like, we had a lot of freedom and it was like mostly regular. But from the 10th standard onwards, we had the ability to design our own timetables and have a say in what our learning journey looks like. For example, in the 10th, instead of having board exams, we got like an empty timetable, and we were asked, what would you want to study? What would you want to have as subjects? And we could design from period 1 to period 7, everything that we wanted to learn, who we wanted to learn with, and how we wanted to even go about each subject. And I feel like that's the first time in my entire schooling experience that I looked at myself as an individual separate from my classmates, and I saw myself as an individual who was capable of learning. And suddenly I felt like, okay, these are things that I would want to learn, or these are things that I wouldn't want to learn. And suddenly I realized that I had likes and dislikes, and I saw myself separate as a separate individual. And I feel like that really changed how I view learning. And I feel like that if I bring it down to the essence, I feel like the essence of that whole experience was the sense of ownership and choice. And I felt like those two things always stayed with me. And I felt like with the kids that I wanted to work with, I wanted them to experience that sense of agency and ownership and choice. And that's why I started Grip Tape India. Grip Tape India, what we do is we work with students who are 14 to 19, especially from government schools and low income private schools, because most of those schools, like a lot of other schools, maybe they're trying to make a shift, and now we have a lot more alternative schools coming up. But I feel like in government schools, I think the process of them allowing children to have agency will take much longer. And so we really work with those kids, and we work with kids who are between 14 to 19, and we ask them, what are they extremely passionate about. So they've never been asked, what do they want to do. And so we really wanted them to feel like at least once in their life, they should have a space where they choose something that they are passionate about. And then there is an environment and system that, allows them to kind of pursue that. So we have kids who come to us who, really want to start a fashion brand, or want to learn how to code, or want to start a food brand, want to write an autobiography about their community, or even want to clean up the roads in front of their school because it's extremely dirty. And so we have kids who come to us with that. And we realize when kids have this particular passion, there are two things that come in their way. One is either they don't have the resources to be able to pursue that sort of passion, and second is that they don't have a support system. So we realized that if we wanted them to experience agency and ownership and choice, we needed to solve for those two things. And so we fund them for those 10 weeks that they work with us. We give them like a 10K fund that they can use as they would like towards that particular passion, because money gives you power and ownership over your learning process also. And second is that we partner them with somebody we call a champion, somebody who's there just to support you motivationally and emotionally, and not to tell you what to do, how to go about your project, nothing. So no instructional guidance, it's just like emotional support, because I feel like it's really important for the child to see themselves as an individual that somebody else feels worth investing their time in. And I feel like it's really important for the child to feel like somebody really believes in me, whatever I might do. And even if I fail, like, it doesn't matter, like somebody really believes in what I want to do and what I feel like is something that's important to me. And so I feel like through this entire work, I realized that agency is something that's also very fluid. And I think one definition that we have come down to for agency is that it's the ability to set goals for yourself and have the skill and will to be able to achieve those goals. And I feel like if we had to break it down to like one small recipe, it's basically one is obviously to be able to set those goals for yourself and know the why, how, and the what behind why you want those goals for yourself. Second is the confidence to be able to achieve those goals. And the third is the self belief that you can actually do it. And I feel like if we can have that environment created for the children that we work with, then I feel like suddenly we'll see and we'll have a lot more kids in the country that look at themselves as people who can learn independently, learn for themselves, and learn because they want to learn and not because they are being asked to and forced to do it. Yeah, I see it
That's
under 10.
brilliant. I love your definition of agency. I'm definitely going to borrow that and use that as I think that really sums up what education should be about. Sanjana, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And I will put you at the backstage. And the next speakers that I would like to invite onto the stage are Niyati and Siddharth Handa. A little bit about them is give me a second. Sorry. Niyati Handa is a seasoned educator with 7 years of experience across kindergarten and secondary classrooms. She views students as a constant source of inspiration. Her extensive academic background includes degrees from the University of Warwick and SOAS, University of London, a B.Ed, and an AMI Montessori diploma from Munich. She has taught IB, IGCSE, and ICSE curricula in India and worked in Montessori houses in Germany. Siddharth Handa is an entrepreneur dedicated to grassroots impact. He co-founded the Baker's Dozen and the Do Roti Farms to promote chemical-free living. In 2021, he pivoted to early childhood education, completing a 13-month pedagogical study and 100 plus hours of international school observations. His mission is to foster nation building through high quality education. Together, they blend academic rigor with entrepreneurial vision to create a holistic learning environment for the next generation. It is a pleasure to have you both as part of this discussion. Stage is yours.
Thank you, Preeti. Thanks.
Namaste. Good morning,
Namaste.
everyone. We are very fortunate to be part of this panel and to listen to all of you and learn from you as well.
Okay, so Eklavya is a 30-year-old organization started by my father-in-law in Ahmedabad. That's a K-12 organization. 2023, Siddharth and I started Eklavya School, Bangalore. And currently, we've got children who are in their early years, up till UKG. And next year, we'll have class 1, which is coming from June onwards. So my examples will stick with the early years because that's right now what our lived experiences are. So our topic was to balancing emotional security with independent discovery. So I'd like to start with an anecdote. So 2 years ago, we had a little boy join our school and was around 4.5 years old, and he had never been to school before. And when his parents admitted him to Eklavya, he was very, very upset. He didn't understand why he needed to be away from home. So for around a week, every day, he would come to school and he would cry and shout and run around the campus. And my job was to just follow him around, patiently waiting to make sure that he's safe and at the same time allowing him to vent. And this required tremendous patience from our end because it's actually 2-3 hours, 4 hours almost of just being just being outside, outdoors, and just waiting for the child. And one day I asked him a question. Did you take Betsy for a morning walk today? That was a simple question I asked. Betsy was his dog. I'd learned about him during a home visit that we do. So we do home visits for all children every year when they join school at the beginning of the academic year. And I'd learned that he really loved his dog and loved to take the dog out for a morning walk. And that day when I asked that question, did you take Betsy for a morning walk? The crying stopped. And suddenly we had a small window of connection and we started talking. In about a week's time, he had fully settled down. He had become very much a part of the activities in school. And this really taught me that It wasn't anything else that had changed. It was just that having some connection made him feel that he was safe. And when he felt safe, he was ready to discover the school and whatever it offered. Independence and independent discovery, according to me, it stems fully from emotional security. If a child feels loved, safe, if a child believes that what she thinks or he thinks matters and that he or she is respected, there will be discovery from their end. These are not just affirmations that you speak to yourself every day. Children have to feel it as a lived experience on a daily basis. And it can come through an everyday interaction, just a touch, a smile, somebody listening to you patiently. There's the reactions that we as adults give to children. All of that contribute to this concept of emotional security. At Eklavya, Siddharth and I, we work very hard to provide an environment that creates this sense of emotional security for children. It could be as simple as crouching down when you're talking to a child. Now, this may seem so obvious, and everybody who's in early childhood education knows that you're supposed to do that. But you'd be surprised how often, despite knowing all this, adults don't bother. So just doing that, ensuring that every time you do it is important. It could be as simple as showing a child that you care, or creating an opportunity that gives the child the feeling that you care. Through a simple thing like, for example, we had a child who was around 2.5 when he joined school, and he was still figuring out language. He was not talking much, he was mostly monosyllabic. And one thing we knew about him was that he loved vehicles of all sorts. So he loved fire trucks, he loved ambulances. And every year during summer holidays, we paint our classroom windows. And we ensured that his favorite vehicles were painted on the window of his classroom. From the first day he entered, every day, that child would point out to me or to the other teachers, fire truck, ambulance. And it started with that, and we used it as a foundation to ask him questions or to try to elongate the conversation. And it really helped, because with that connection, with that feeling that, something that I like is in my classroom, something that I like, it's on the windows, he kept increasing the conversation. He kept trying to connect with us. And now at 3.5, he's fully responsive. He has full conversations with his peers and adults. So it's a great feeling for us. I think for me, I would also say that it's not just emotional security isn't just about feeling loved emotionally or feeling valued emotionally. It's also about feeling physically safe. So I've been to many preschools all over the country, all over the world. Sometimes in preschools, what I see is that adults don't value the body of the child. They feel that it is, since they're small, it doesn't matter how we treat their bodies. So, for example, I've seen in a school that when the child comes, they remove their shoes outside the classroom. And instead of allowing the child to try to remove it on their own, the housekeeping Didi sort of plonks the child onto the chair and then roughly just removes the shoes. No talk has happened. Nobody has told the child that now I will remove your shoes. Even when they take them to the washroom, very often you see that the adult will just pull down the pants and put them on the pot. When we do things like that, the child feels that their body doesn't matter, that there is no dignity that is afforded to them. And I think when we as a school are very particular about this kind of gentleness and dignity in how we treat children's bodies, we ensure that our children feel safe and cared for physically as well as emotionally. For example, if I want to take a child to the washroom, I and all the didis have been trained and the teachers have been trained that you will first ask the child that can I pull down the pant? we don't assume that the child is 2 years old, so there's no point in asking. You have to ask. That sense of consent that we ask from the child before, touching them, I think builds a lot of trust between the child and the adult. Another aspect where we feel that, in a school setup at least, a lot of emotional security is built is when we think about like cases of indiscipline. So supposing a toy has been broken by a child, most adults will start the conversation with, why did you break it? And the problem with that is we are supposing that there is guilt, that there is no option but that the child has broken it and it must have been done by purpose, and now you're just trying to find out what has happened. Instead, at Eklavya, we are working very hard. This is a continuous process of training that we keep doing with all our adults, is that we have to start with curiosity, not with a supposition of guilt. Instead of asking, why did you break? The question can be, how did this toy break? This gives the child the room that, you can tell me your side of the story. We don't have to assume that you have done it out of some kind of malice. And this again brings out a lot of security and safety in the child's mind, that what they think, it really matters to the adults around them. In early childhood, children are still figuring out executive function. So executive function, the pillars of which are emotional regulation, impulse control, these are things that they're still figuring out, and they'll be figuring that out until they're much older. If our interactions, both at home and at school, strengthen this, I think the children will grow up to be fine human beings. And we have a lot of mechanisms. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it, but we have our parents' workshops, our home visits, all of which ensure that we have regular communication with the parents, so that the ways in which we are practicing our interactions also get passed on at home, and therefore the messaging at home, the messaging at school, both are the same, and the children feel safe everywhere they go.
Now, coming to independent discovery, we feel that exploration and discovery is naturally there in each one of us and in each child. Our job is to not suppress it. Our job is to keep it buoyant and to encourage it. Children share their discoveries with adults if we are approachable. For example, one child in our class, she found a tree with 20 to 30 caterpillars on it. She ran to tell the teacher. This discovery led to a 2-week project where we tracked and observed the whole colony and tracked the metamorphosis process with the right nomenclature. Most of us as adults have never seen this happen in real life. We've all heard about it. It's a marvelous, magical process. When the butterflies come out of the pupa and fly up, it was incredible to watch them go, ooh, look at the butterflies. This spontaneity is what discovery is all about. Another example is from a jackfruit tree. So the tree is right outside the classroom. When it was harvest season, we harvested it, cut it, and gave it to them. Initially, nobody wanted to touch it. They all shoved their hands in their armpits saying, yuck, it is very sticky, very smelly, I will not touch it. But within 10 to 15 minutes of talking about it, telling a story about it, they were all super enthusiastic about it. They all divided the responsibilities on their own. One boy was removing the pulp. Some of them said, I have X-ray vision, which has seed, which does not have seed, I will remove it. And the others were organizing it. But this takes time. This takes patience. Our preschool day is also a little longer. Our preschool is about 4 to 5 hours. When that amount of time is given, then they feel free to really go deep into each discovery. One last example I'll share is about Anji play. So Anji is a town in China. We learned about it from a documentary on Netflix. In this play, loose parts, old junk materials are given to children, such as PVC pipes and tubes, Fevicol drums, carton boxes, wooden planks, cycle kit tire, Blinkit Zepto bags. They make their own work out of it. Now, mind you, this is work. It is playful work. They are thinking What am I going to build today? After that discussion, when they come to build, usually children for this age, they build something completely different than planned, but it is still discovery. They're negotiating with each other who will take which materials. The beauty of Anji is adults are at the far end. We are observing from a distance. Children will learn to figure out and resolve their internal conflicts on their own. A child has an adult supervising them all the time. They have parents at home, teachers in school. Whenever any conflict happens, you go there, you go there. That cannot be a solution always. Kuch kshan unhe chahiye. They need a few moments to try and figure it out on their own. They sometimes need to go through that heartache that, ma'am, he took it and he did not return it to me. He promised he will return it to me, but he didn't. She will hold this for a whole week until the next Anji class when she will remind him, see, last time you did not give, so this time this is how we will do. These are important ways to figure out life and to figure out working together. Collaboration is not easy, but this muscle has to be built. Finally, one thing we would like to say is emotional security unlocks independent discovery. One cannot exist without the other. When children feel secure, they feel brave. When they feel respected, they become resilient. When they feel loved, they become confident. Our responsibility is to provide them with a safe and nurturing environment so that they follow their inner teacher, their natural impulse to grow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think there was this calmness about the two of you that it just reflected the intentionality behind everything that you do at Eklavya. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now we've come to that exciting part of our panel discussion where I'm going to add all the panelists onto the stage, and I'm going to add all the learners onto the stage as well. Our learners have patiently been waiting to ask the questions that they have planned. I'm going to request, I think, apart from Tanmay, everybody's videos are on. Tanmay, can you turn on your video, please? Great, fantastic. So we are at this exciting juncture where I'm going to hand off to the Tapas learners, and I'm going to let them ask you questions, manage themselves, manage you completely, and I will only step in if there is any maybe safeguards, guardrails required. Okay, over to you, Tapas learners.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have
So we'll be starting the questions. Daivik, your questions first.
Okay. So this is a question to Sir Velmurugan. So the question is: large institutions often speak about innovation, yet move cautiously. What generally scares big systems when it comes to change?
Very big question. When any large organization is there, there is some set of things which are already going on well. At least we assume that that's going on well. And one of the most important thing is whenever you feel something is going on well, you should also start looking at what's happening around, and then you need to innovate. Sometimes what is going on well now will not go well for the future. For example, you could see the way AI sweep is going on. So what looks nice may not look nice very quickly. There are a number of examples which is currently happening, especially in all sectors, and especially in education. Lots of things are happening. I recently studied something about a homework helping app where the stock price was $122. The minute AI was introduced, it has come down. Yesterday I was checking, it is 0.22 from $120 per stock. It has fallen to less than one. So there's a fast shifting happening. So when you run a large organization, you should also keep watching what's happening around you. And these things will come like a tsunami. Suddenly it will hit you on your face. So once you observe, then you should find out How is that you have to bring it to your organization? That means you need to do those innovations outside the school. You can't bring into the large system. You have to take a small model. Now, for example, just 2 weeks before I've started my AA company, AA for education and all the process. So in fact, last 3 weeks I've been working into this. So if you look into that, I'm totally spending my time or at least half a day to observe what is AI doing and what it will do for our large process. And then we have taken around 25 interns, and then we have started thinking all of it through the AI. So any work we do, for example, we did a sports day. What we did is we took a video through drone and then sent that video for analysis to an AI modeling, and then quickly we got a set of analysis what we need to do. So to adapt something like this, then we have to do experiments outside. And then once we feel something is good, then we should choose one school to do a pilot model. And once the pilot model is done, you keep observing for a year. Actually, it is one cycle. So 5 to 10 months, we keep observing what's happening very closely. And then when we are confident, we scale. When we are not confident, we take some more time to do. That's how we need to run bigger scaled organization. Otherwise, things will go haywire because people are always used to a particular model. Change is the only, everyone likes change, but no one wants to change. Everyone likes change. Everyone can talk a lot about change. A simple habit to wake up 5 minutes early. It looks very simple, but to follow it, it is very difficult. So everyone can give a lecture or listen to a lecture on change, but really to change is very difficult. So for a large organization like us, we do a lot of small experiments outside the organization. Then we pilot the model, and once we feel we are happy with it, then we try to scale it, even that in stages. We don't do it just like that. I suppose I have 25 schools. It is one school, then 3 schools, then 5 schools, 10 schools. That's the model we do. And we also invent new models. And once those models are good, then we try to scale it. That's how when you are going to study in your higher classes on organization behavior or organization development, any change, when you are going to run something, that's what you'll do. Even a new thing you want to learn. I was so happy to listen to Sanjana. If you're going to do grip tape, if you're going to go there, say a passion, you want to learn something, you want to integrate it, you're going to learn it like that, and then you're going to bring it in your daily life, even though it's a passion. Thank you for asking this question.
That's a wonderful answer. My next question is to Dr. Rouble and Shikha. Where
Yes,
do
absolutely.
parent
Looking forward.
expectations
Yes.
and school realities clash the most?
So, where do parents and school realities clash the most? Is that the question?
Now, where do parents' expectations and school realities clash the most?
Okay, lovely question. Thank you so much. So, we feel that usually parents, they, let's say, imagine measuring a fever with a thermometer. Now, that can at best tell you the fever, right? But if you really want to check somebody's fitness, then you cannot just have fever as the only parameter. You might have to add fitness in terms of stamina, endurance, strength. So I think parents, they usually are very much marks oriented. They often have less awareness. They are very limited in how they look at their child's growth. On the other hand, the schools, they are more multidimensional. They're able to see a 360-degree of the child. So I think the reason there is a clash is maybe because parents are either too selfishly absorbed in their child, so they have a narrow scope of vision, while schools are way broader. And so that leads to conflicts, misunderstandings, or I mean, customer and sellers relation. So that's where the conflict is.
A great answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So my next question is to Miss Sanjana. How can schools genuinely trust students without losing sight of their goals?
Okay, thank you for that question. Um, I think because I think all schools, because there's some sort of restrictions and like requirements from the board that they have, I think they can keep those requirements in place. But I think within those requirements and within the syllabus requirements also, I think they can keep space for children to, make their own choices, and create like an environment where, let's say, even if they have to complete a lesson, maybe they can give children the ownership of deciding how they want to go about it, or who should maybe lead the session, or how should the teacher even like what kind of materials to bring. Maybe in the small spaces of um, within the broader structure, if they can bring some sort of like space where children can decide how they want to go about it, then I think that is a lot more doable right now. I feel like that's also like a great way to just like start giving children the agency to decide what they want to do and how they want to go about it.
Thank you for that answer. And so, to my next question is to Niyati, Miss Niyati and Sir Siddharth. Everyone says early years are important, yet they're treated casually or rushed. Where exactly are we getting early childhood education dangerously wrong?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Daivik. You're absolutely right that we do have, most of us adults don't consider the early years as importantly as we should. See, actually, mostly in society, it is assumed that education is only important once you hit the teenage years, because you're going to have the board exams 10th and 12th, and that's actually when school really matters, or studies really matter. And more than once, I have heard people tell me to my face that what is it that you're going to teach us? Man, what is the big deal? In what? In why do we need to send this child? Uh, like they're only going to go play, right? So we're not seeing that the early childhood is actually possibly the most influential time in the child's life, when we can where the child is growing exponentially, not just mentally but physically. They're building the foundation for their attitudes, their value systems, um, their personal beliefs, and their entire self-worth is actually built primarily in the early years. If you've had a great early childhood, uh, I think your ability to be curious, to be confident, all of that is built beautifully. And if you've had an early childhood where you've been asked to suppress your natural curiosity, you suppress your natural instinct to investigate and find out and learn, then you grow up to be the kind of person who always needs somebody else to tell them what to do. And then it's very difficult to get that out of you later on. Very often I see that a lot of parents, that when we give a child a puzzle, let's say a simple peg puzzle, this child is only about 2 years old or 1.5 years old, they're just putting the pegs in the correct into the puzzle, and before the child has actually tried it, the parent says, no, 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 not this one, put this one. So we correct before the child has attempted, assuming that the right answer is the most important part. And there, I think, is actually where we are going dangerously wrong. The child should be allowed to experiment, to keep trying. It's not working, try another one. That's not working. Build that resilience, build that curiosity. I will not stop till I figure out what I want to figure out. I think those are qualities that we can build in early childhood and never later. You can't learn it in your teens, you can't learn it later in life. If it's not happened to you, it's very difficult to figure it out later. Another thing is that people don't realize that values learned in early childhood, they really they go deep. They go deep. And they it could be as simple as sharing or accepting failure and not giving up. It could be being honest. It could be respecting time, respecting others, respecting your body, respecting other people's bodies. All of those things. If we give them ample experiences where they understand the value of these things, I think they can shape a human being in exponentially in a much larger magnitude than you would at later life. You can't teach a teen or an adult that as effectively as you can an early childhood individual.
Sorry, out of turn, I'm trying to answer this question. If I'm permitted to. I fully appreciate what ma'am is saying. One of the most important thing is noticing the child. Very, very closely noticing the child. If you, in early childhood, if you do not notice the child, then you will not know the way the child is growing. And then, as she said, not to intervene before even the real learning happens. Allow the child to bloom. Before even the bloom happens, as an adult, don't go and spoil the bloom. The minute you spoil the bloom, then the child will allow you to bloom and the child will sulk in. That's the second thing. Third thing, you should not pass on your limitation. I don't like swimming. That doesn't mean I should say to the child, be careful, be careful. The water is there, be careful. I don't like driving. That doesn't mean be careful. This be careful is only trying to make them not to do. I still regret I'm not able to climb a tree. Because whenever I went near the tree, my father used to say, you will fall. And today, even I have a capability to climb a tree, I will fall because I fell during my younger days. So this is one thing I would love to say. I'm sitting with my grandson, and that's the biggest time I spend. If at all, if someone asks what am I doing apart from my work, I'm spending time with my grandson. Every day we take the encyclopedia, we open some page, we discuss. That's the work we do. So he carries that big encyclopedia. The other day, my wife was saying, Magellan, be careful. He says, I'm a strong boy. I can carry. And he carries. So all that we need to do is keep on noticing them and allow them to bloom, and do not pass on your limitation on an young kid. That's going to hamper their growth. And whenever you're able to appreciate, be very, very kind. Give them more than they require, because those are the strong foundation on which these children are going to grow. So even when my wife was growing my children, I said, they're meant to be leaders. Don't hamper them with small things. Whenever you say small things, then they become too timid and they will go down. They are like emperors. They have to grow like that. Treat them like a king. Treat them like a queen. And to be very happy, they're literally like kings, because they have a big kingdom to take care. So see to that the children are very well nurtured, and hats off. God will bless us because we are doing this work. Thank you.
Great answers from Sir Siddharth and Sir Velmurugan and Mrs. Niyati. So, my next question is to Mr. Velmurugan. It is, parents often equate equality with results and reputation. How do institutions lead a parent mindset instead of simply responding to pressure?
See, there are three different things, quality, results, and all that. All that I would love to say is, do it with the joy of doing it. That's all. If you play tennis, see to that you hit the ball properly. If it is playing cricket, hit the ball well. If it is bowling, bowl the ball well. It is whatever you do it with passion. Do not worry about the sound around you. That's how I've grown. I never bother about the sound around me except learning. I always focus on what I do. So result or quality, whatever it is, a byproduct of a passionate work. If you're very passionate with whatever you do, even growing a tree, I love to hug trees, whichever I've planted. Whenever I go to that school, if I see my tree growing up with a lot of young leaves and other thing, I used to spend some time and watch how well it is growing. And the minute you start doing everything with a passion, you will be able to give your heart and mind to it. The minute you give heart and mind to it, it will definitely get nurtured. You will bloom and get the best result. Even the subject you hate, start loving. When I was doing some subjects, I don't really do well because it doesn't go to my head. But I used to spend word by word. I used to have dictionary. Word by word, I will try to understand what does it mean. Then I moved para by para. Then I moved page by page. Then I moved lesson by lesson. So whatever you do, enjoy to the best of it. Even sipping a coffee or a tea, I don't love people blah 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 blah. Not like that. I sip it as if I'm having a beautiful cup of tea. I have a good cup also. Every sip I enjoy. I go to the tea stall. I buy for 12 rupees. I, as if I am Karl Marx or Lenin or Jawaharlal Nehru, I sip the tea. The tea is only 12 rupees. But I sip as if I look at people around. I listen to their conversation. I sip so well. I'm able to enjoy the tea. I'm able to also learn from around me. Every morning I do. So like that, the minute you start doing everything well, the quality comes, the result comes, everything will come. All that your parents wants you to be topper. Naturally, you'll be a topper in something. Sometimes they would discover, they may not discover. Most of the parents, I used to play good cricket. Till I played for Velammal, my own school, my father never knew I'm a good cricketer. So most of the things we have, our parents don't have time to notice. But whatever we do, let us do it well. One day they will come to know. Quality comes out of deep passion and a lot of conviction and thorough enjoyment of whatever we do. Do well, I think so, rest will fall in place. The result is only a byproduct of a good, passionate work. That's all. So let's
Just
sip a good tea.
Just amazing answers. So my next question is to Dr. Rouble and Shikha. How should schools define success beyond marks?
I feel the schools should give, the flexibility to the child. I mean, the school should have the core values, a core system that is, required to have the direction. But schools should give a flexibility to the child so that they can have their diverse ways to reach that core value. Marks are something which are just, that momentarily performance of a child. That does not tell you how curious is the child, how much emotional intelligence the child has. So I think the marks should not be something where the child should be, measured upon. So that's a very secondary stuff, and we tell our children as well. If a topic they know at home and they can tell us properly what is there in that, and even if the next day, they are having lesser marks in that subject, then marks don't matter because they have understood what is there in the topic. So I think the marks are a very secondary thing.
And also appreciations for the lovely answers that we have heard. Niyati ma'am, Siddharth sir, Murugan sir, very interesting. It really reflects your years of experience and I think on-site work that we could see. And for us as parents, I think going beyond the marks has always been our priority. The reason for that is you cannot measure everything. And we have a very simple, casual benchmark. As long as our children are making effort towards a goal, that's all that matters. Whether they are exceptionally good in terms of competition, that's simply something we don't even care. So we take great pride when our son takes interest in art. And we don't even care whether he is the best artist, but the fact that he loves it and he wants to do projects on it, we know that eventually he will create his own pathway. I mean, Van Gogh and the best of artists, they were never really discovered during their lifetime because the incapacity was of the society for them. But eventually, after they were no more and their art was seen again with a fresh perspective, it was realized that they were challenging the conventions already. But then maybe the society was not ready for it. And so, in the benchmarks of society, perhaps they couldn't stand as toppers, but they were the creators and inventors. And same as with our daughter, she is a great animal lover. She calls herself an animal activist. She has these rabbits and dogs and cats at her home. And she feels already a vet. The way she treats her animals and she shares her expertise. On Spotify, you can write her daughter's name and you would see she's talking about how to take care of a pug, how to take care of a German Shepherd. she is already a wet in her eyes. So, and we love it. We love the fact that, and no marks can ever make us look at our children differently. So, yes, I think awareness on parents' part be a game changer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, my final and last question is to Miss Sanjana. How does success look like when students define it for themselves?
How does what look like?
How does success look like when students define it for themselves?
Got it. I think, like most people mentioned, I think more success that we define and, like, for things that are school related, I think adults define what success looks like for kids, in a sense, to get marks or to get, to complete the syllabus, to complete the curriculum. I think all of those are success that are adult driven. I think if you ask a kid, I think they will just say that they just want to love learning and they just want to be happy doing it. And I feel like success for them is just enjoying the process of doing it. And I feel like it's not so outcome driven, but it's also just the journey. And I feel like Velmurugan sir was saying also, that he really enjoys sipping that cup of tea. It's not that he wants to complete that cup of tea, it's just the process. And I feel like that is success for most kids. And I would define, yeah, if children can, like, maybe, yeah, you should answer this question. Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, it's the process and not just the outcome.
Thank you very much. So
Again, I'll
now,
jump. 1 minute. I can't hold it without answering this question. Sorry for barging
Yeah.
in. See, success is something like you have a deep desire, and to achieve the desire, you plan something, and to whatever you plan, you put some efforts for it. And when you put efforts, everything will not go right. You face the reality. Then you do a course change in the plan, and then again you proceed, and somewhere you reach the destination. You will get a moment of delight. You'll get a moment. It may be even trying to get a chocolate or trying to take some time, put effort. And once you put an effort, it doesn't mean it will happen that way. Then you go back and forward in the plan. You make correction. Then still you try to achieve the destination. Then you'll get one nectar of honey. It will taste you in your brain. That is success. It can be small. It can be very large. It can be. But if you start tasting from your younger days, small nectar of honey, a day will come, ocean of honey you'll be able to enjoy. That's success.
Well, I think, Devik, this is such a triggering question that how success looks like, that even I would like to add on here. So I think resilience is a word that schools often use. If you would ask me or Shikha what success looks like, I think it's that resilience that every day, despite all the shortcomings and failures, you still want to do things.
Yeah.
You still want to continue. You still see a solution. You still see a new way, because that happens with us all the time. Because every day, no matter, we always have this feeling that we are able to make an impact. We are able to create a stir. No matter how small it is, we are able to see value. And when you feel that, that's how success looks like. It almost makes you feel like a tiny superhero in some capacity. So I think that's how it feels like.
Thank you for all the answers. So now, Karun and Tanmay will be asking the questions now. So I would like them to speak.
Hello everyone. Okay, Karan, you can speak.
Hello everyone. So my first question is to Mr. Velmurugan. At the same time, what do large institutions urgently need to learn from smaller experimental schools?
Whatever the smaller experimental schools are doing good, we need to adopt it and then take it and scale it. That is what we need to do, because we closely watch all the progressive schools all over us. We equally visit a lot of schools abroad as well as see all the schools happening here. And sometimes we also build school within the school. We also have smaller schools. We have schools with 300, 400, 500 children school. So we keep experimenting all these things. 2 days before, our children had pajama night. That was amazing. All my primary children were there sleeping together, tagging with a friend, and they were having fun, which we were never in our younger days. We had all these opportunities. I was really happy to see my younger children getting together and doing. So we keep listening and observing what's happening in schools all over us. And wherever good practices are there, then come and try it out. We keep our eyes wide open, ears open, and always look for what is happening around us. And we always adopt. And however big institution you have to be agile. If you're not agile, you're dead. So you have to be, a lot of agility is required. Might be, we do that. Thank you.
Very nice answer, sir.
And I've been to your school. I've been watching your school. We're trying to do something together. So at least 3 times I've been there in your school.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, same question, pretty same person. The question will be asked. Looking ahead, how do you future proof on an institution without constantly reacting to trends? Sir, can you answer that?
The question again, answer question to me.
Looking ahead into the future, how do you future proof an institution without constantly reacting to trends?
See, certain things are going to be there for ages. That is not going to change. Certain things are static and certain things are dynamic. Certain habits, values, these are all going to be there irrespective till the mankind is going to be alive and going to be there. That's not going to change. Respecting your parents, learning from your grandparents, respecting your teachers, certain personal hygiene habits, many things are going to stay on. The only change which is going to happen is around you on technology, business, and other things. These are all new skills which you can learn. So all that you need to know is how to learn the skill. The minute you know how to learn the skill, now my age is 55. I can rest myself because to a certain extent I have done what I'm supposed to do, but I feel zero. I feel literally zero because they're all saying yay. If I don't go to a school, I don't sit and learn, then I'm left out. And if I'm not a digital native or digital EA native, I'm going to be left out. So you won't believe, after this class, I have to go for 2 hours class to a mentor who is mentoring me. Once this session is over, my car is ready, I have to go there. Last 3 weeks, I've been learning how is that I need to do. So fundamental is the same. What is a fundamental? The agility to learn, unlearn, relearn, that interest is always there. But what I learn is changing. What I need to learn is changing. But few fundamentals are never going to change. Waking up in the morning, the personal hygiene habits, many things are not going to change. But what is going to change is we are going to adapt and adopt to what we need to improve our skills. So 30 years before, the way I was running the school was different. The way I have to run the school today is far different. Those days we were battling for English, we were battling for some scores, we were battling for first mark. Now, touch wood, you won't believe, at least we this time 840 of our children are qualified above 90 percentile in IIT alone. And at least 100 students have touched 99 plus. That means, touch wood, we have produced 100 IITians plus. Now the journey is on. But if you look back 30 years before, 25 years before, sending one IITian from our school was a big thing. We have to set the platform. So certain basic skills will never change. Based on the situation, few of the skills we need to adapt and we need to move forward based on the future trend. That's all. But basic skills will never change. It's going to be there.
Okay. My second question to Dr. Rouble and Ms. Shikha. What operational systems block pedagogy shifts?
What operational systems? Okay, what operational systems block pedagogical shifts? Wow, I love the question first. it's a complete science in itself. So I think if I break down, operational systems would certainly mean the way the school is working. And pedagogical shifts would be how the teaching styles and all of that could change. So, what is it in the way the school is working that stops teacher from teaching the way they would like? Am I right? Would that how it would be decoded? So I think it's certainly, Karun, the rigidity. Sometimes there is lack of receptivity on the school's part. Like Murugan sir said that 30 years ago, I was running the school differently. And today I'm running it differently because the challenges are different. The demands as a society are different. Today's parent, they have smaller families. They want their child to be celebrated in the way the child is. So the first thing certainly is the schools have to be very receptive, of course selective, because if they cannot meet the end user's need for that matter, which is the parent who's going to pay, maybe the parent is not the right fit for the school. So the first thing would be a lot of selection process for any school to ensure that the family aligns with the school's core values. Then at number two is of course the receptivity of the school. School should be ready to, just as Sir said, relearn, unlearn. That's another part. And third, of course, it has to be the freedom we give to the teachers. Just as a river flows, but there are banks on it. In the same way, there could be freedom in the school for the teachers and students, but there has to be the banks, as in the checkpoints, wherein the minimal basics are to be assessed and ensured that those have been imparted. You cannot surpass the basics no matter how mod and new age you become. And sometimes, Shikha and I, we often discuss, we keep on talking about future proofing and future ready education. Maybe we need more than that because future is still unseen. Maybe we need past reflective education. Sometimes there's a famous story how two brothers from the same father, one said, I couldn't become anything in life because my father was a drunkard. And the other said, oh, I became great person in my life because my father was a drunkard and I ensured I don't want to be that. Sometimes how you look at your past, that has to be created, and past can be still created, I feel. Future often, no matter how much you try, you can roughly guess. So I think if we really try to understand the core values, bring in the stakeholders, parents, students, and teachers together, the operational rigidity could be softened. The changes could come gradually in the right spirit. And I'm lost in my own answer. Thank you. Just as the question.
Thank you,
Karan,
sir.
just a second. Thank you so much, everybody. We're almost at the end of our time. So I would like to give our learners also an opportunity to answer some questions from the panelists. I know we didn't go through our entire set of questions, but I think they also have so much that they can do. And the questions were just very, very little of what their thoughts and voices can be. So I invite the panelists to ask questions of our learners of what they're currently doing, maybe, or what they think of school, whatever you need to ask.
I'll be the first to ask. See, for me, the biggest learning I always do wherever I go, I never get in touch with any of the adults there. I always try to reach out to the younger kids at home, wherever I go, whether it's my friend's place or wherever I visit. I always try to move along with the younger ones because that's the biggest challenge we are facing. The way you think, the way our childhood was very, very different. The way we were growing, we had nothing, actually, literally nothing. I do not even know what is that distracted us. Nothing. Laziness was the biggest distraction, might be, or postponing things, not doing the homework, something like that. Otherwise, we had nothing. But today, you are the real kids who have got everything, including the parents trying to do something, as the Rouble was saying. And they were saying so many things they're expecting from you, so many things they're offering you. When we took a cricket bat, we were bet. We were literally bet left and right. That's a pride. Parents used to break the cricket bat and throw it. They used to burn the cricket bat, cut the rubber balls. Today, you see parents carrying the cricket kit going behind the child. The whole paradigm has changed in the last 30 years. So, always my curiosity is to know how are our younger learners, how to engage the younger learners, what interests you, what is that really gives you the kick. See, what gave the kick to us is survival. We need something to be better than what we were. Our homes were small. We were all sleeping in one single mat. There was no car in our house. We were using the city bus. Our survival was the biggest thing we were doing. But God has blessed you with everything. So I would like to ask all the three learners, whoever is there, what is that is exciting you? How do you feel the childhood? What are the areas you feel you are blessed with? What are the areas you are feeling you are not blessed with? I would like to know from you, where are you now? We weren't you. So I am very excited to know you from there. Please. What do you feel as your blessing, and what do you feel that something is bugging you? Please. Anyone can take up this question as you like it. And I hear no one is listening. Your school authorities. Only I am listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, what I feel like is a blessing is having a roof over my head, plenty of food to eat. Because I know many people don't even have proper food to eat, not a roof over their head. I'm really blessed for this life, having a really nice school, getting amazing education, basically everything I have. I'm really blessed. And yeah, I guess that's what it is. Not blessed, I guess, nothing much. I'd say I'm blessed with almost everything.
Good feel. Karun and Devik.
Karan, you can go.
So similar to Tanmay, I'm blessed with a roof. I have plenty of food to eat, water. I think something I'm really grateful for and blessed with is how my school and how it works. So I don't have that stress of every 3 months we have an exam. I have to prepare. I have to do all that. We have assessments, and those are not, to an extent, it's not that hard. It racks our brain, but we don't have to stress about it for weeks along. We enjoy it. We enjoy our assessments. We take it as a challenge. So I'm blessed that I have a school where I mostly I don't stress about everything. Yeah. What I'm not blessed, I don't really think I'm not blessed with anything much. Like, there's nothing I have I'm not blessed with. So
So, what I'm blessed with is a house, food, water, life, learning, education, a school that doesn't put too much pressure. And really, I'm really grateful for everything that I have. I have wonderful parents, I have a wonderful family, and that too, I don't think I'm not. I don't think there's anything that I'm not blessed with. I'm blessed with all the life necessities.
And
So
all
that is,
the three of you, what do you miss?
what?
What do you miss? What do you miss? Do you miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. So one day we could see you at the best of the potential, and we will recollect this interview because you are counting your blessings. That's a very positive thing. Very, very positive thing. We are grateful to all.
And I think we could also see that at Tapas, the children are grateful,
Happy.
and they are appreciative, which is so rare. They value what they have. So well done, Preeti ma'am.
Good.
One last question to the learners, and then I think we will wrap this up. Any of the panelists have a question? You can please ask.
I'm waiting for Niyati ma'am and Siddharth sir, if they have. Otherwise, Shikha and I are always full of questions. Did we go ahead?
You guys go ahead because we had the same question as
Okay. That's
the earlier one, so it's fine. You guys go ahead.
Lovely. So our question is very general. We feel that, often it's the hobbies or what you do in the summertime or what you do when you're not at school, which secretly tells the child and the parent what the child wants to do in life. Parents, they become very late in getting the career counseling, but the reality has already been spoken right after grade 1 or 2, we believe, or even earlier, because every child is a prodigy in some capacity. So my question is, what do you guys do very passionately in your free time, maybe in summer break or in winter break or after school, which makes you feel that, that's what I love and I might just have a great what I want to be when I grow up answer in that. So over to all the Tapas learners.
Something I feel this is common with all of most of us in our school. I love playing sports like football or anything. Whenever I have free time, especially in school as well, any free time I get, I go to the sports ground. So I practice either
Absolutely
football or
correct.
other than that. If I have any other free time, let's say at home, except sports, mostly I do sports. Other than that, yeah, sketching. Yeah. So I like to do drawings of anime. So that I work on.
Wonderful.
Superb. Tell me, you want to add?
Um, can
I think
I?
it's, yeah, yes, there we go ahead.
So like just like Karun, I love sports. Like sport, it's just like sports is one of my most favoriteest things in life. And that too, if besides if I can't like play sports or do anything about sports, I usually just like sketch or draw or just imagine.
Wow, we love the answers. Tanmay, you want to add?
Yeah, what I would do in my free time, I actually do a lot of things in my free time. Firstly, of course, I think most of us in our school love sports. That's one of the major things we do. Sports, I am really good at drawing. I love drawing. I play the guitar. I like singing. I like studying. I do a lot of stuff. So yeah, in my free time, I'm basically packed.
Amazing.
It's not a free time, it's a hobby time. So,
So I can see that at Tapas, the children get lots to explore. And we can also
yes.
summarize that if the children love sketching, they have sitting span, attention span, which means they can actually fit into any career in future. And if they like sports, then all those attributes of team spirit, endurance, resilience, perseverance, you have it all, even team spirit. We loved it. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? I guess.
I think they will come to school and ask us, Devik. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have today. We will have to cut this short. I know that Karun and Tanmay had a lot more questions to ask you. They were very disappointed that they didn't get to ask the questions that they had in mind. We kind of curated a few questions as adults and made them ask. They're not happy about it, and I'm sure I will get to hear about where we went wrong as adults at Monday. Yes, sir.
I would love to come to your school and bombard me with whatever difficult questions you want to ask. I want to be in the most baddest moment in my life because that's where I learned to live. So I'm happy to come, and we have a beautiful amphitheater. I will stand in the center. Bombard me with questions. I would be happy to answer you. Very soon I'll meet you in your school.
Yes, sir, we will take you up on that. We would
Sure.
look forward to having you over. Thank you so much to all the panelists for taking this time, being with us. I know it's a Sunday afternoon. We all have families and everything else about our life going on, they've given up their hobbies to be here, the learners. So it's fantastic that you are behind transforming education, and that you are supporting this kind of a progressive education. We really feel grateful to have had your time, your blessings, and your thoughts. With that, we would like to sign off. Thank you all so much for making Tapas Project Shaala a success. Devik,
Thank
Karun,
you.
Tanmay, you were fantastic. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, children. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been a wonderful session. Hello.
Bye, ma'am. Have a nice